Ensure inclusive quality education for all and everyone is our goal. So what are we about? How are we doing it? And why are we doing this? I'm going to start answering this question first that no one actually has asked yet. That's a question I get asked very, very often is, oh, so you go to Cambodia, you build schools? No, we don't. Not anymore. We built 3. We built 1. We funded another one, and we helped building a 3rd one in 2013 until 2015. And what we experienced there was a lot of determined Cambodian teachers, motivated teachers who did not have the qualification to actually keep those kids in school, to teach them so well, so engaging, so interactive, which is a big word for us, to keep these kids in school. So I went to Cambodia in 2013. I met a tuk-tuk driver at the airport. It's a very, it's a story you hear quite often when people go into a third world country, but it really did happen. His name is Kim Yak. So I met him there, and he was like, do you want to come along and I build this little school underneath my stilted house? And I was like, yeah, I see this, that's what I'm here for. So there was 30 kids sitting underneath his stilted house, and it was really hot. That's the first thing I remember. There were a lot of mosquitoes, there were chickens and dogs between our legs, and there was a schoolroom with 30 kids from the age from 7 to 17. So the amount of learning that you can get into in that room, in that class, you can imagine. It was 7 o'clock at night, it was 35 degrees, people were hungry, people were tired, and the light was dim. So I was sitting in the back of this class and I was like, oh my God, how long can I sit here? And those kids came in every night and every morning as well. So the first thing we decided is we built a school building around it, a library. We put a computer lab in and organized books and all those things that you do. And then we started with working with volunteers, overseas volunteers. That's when you start some project, a project like this, you have ambitions and you want to make this work and you don't know much about it. And that's how I was like, oh, I'm going to get volunteers in. So to get volunteers for an extended length of time, which you need to have longer than 4 weeks for the kids to get used to. Like imagine you would have a teacher in school who would change every 4 weeks. How would you feel about that? I wouldn't be too good. So it's the same with those kids. So volunteers need to be engaged longer than that. And that was just really hard to find. And also volunteers who have a quality English teaching education. So we saw that this is not going anywhere, and then we started, okay, that is fair enough. We want to help the Cambodian people anyway and not bring one volunteer after the other in here. It brings risk with the situation, and we want to help the Cambodian people. And our volunteers, you can only be there for 2 weeks. So we started, how can we do? And I was like, oh my God, we need to train Cambodian teachers because I really, really want to teach. Well, at times, some of the teachers walk past an English book and on the next day they're teaching an English lesson. So that was the quality of it, but they really wanted it and the kids came in. So I put a post up on a Facebook page in Siem Reap with expats in Siem Reap. There's like 15,000 people on there who provides teacher training. And there's a lot of NGOs, and I got 46 answers. I don't know what we need it. I don't know what we need it. I don't know what we need it. So I was like, okay, if everyone needs it and no one provides it, we need to make this happen. So I got all those NGO management people in and teachers, and that's how it all started. That's how we went away from building schools, because there's so many schools empty or without trained teachers. There's lots of ambitious people go and build schools and then they're empty because there's no one there who can teach. So we filled this gap with teacher training, with our interactive teacher training in Siem Reap. So we have had 2 First was a pilot. We had the second one just finishing now with an amazing graduation ceremony. And I want to show you what the teaching was like before the teacher training. So remember, we sat in this dark room. We used little phone lights to actually see our books, and then there was rote learning. So imagine 30 kids sitting there, and then the first thing they go through is, it's September the 5th, 2000, every child goes through that. And then 30 kids again, that's an hour gone, and you're like, So this is what we started with. Hannah's just going to show you, it's only an 8-second video, and it's gorgeous children, still being very motivated. It was So that's typical rote learning structure in Cambodia. When I went to school, I didn't like it very much, but I would have liked it even less being that way. I thought, got to do something about this. Thank you very much. So they're repeating, and they're doing their best. They're repeating and repeating and repeating. And we thought we can do something else with this, and we had, teacher training, I teacher training, started teaching a couple other things, so we saying, oh, there's another way around it. So what we actually did is we wrote our own curriculum. A curriculum that's based on TESOL teaching English as a second language. And we adapted that to fit to the Cambodian people, any third world country actually, because they don't want to work with Justin Bieber songs or whatever else is in fashion for us at the moment. So we need to turn this around to actually make them have an interactive class with fun that they believe in, not our fun that we put onto them. So we wrote our first curriculum, and it was supposed to be 250 pages, turned into 460. However, we're still editing it now. We used it for the last course. It was received really, really well. The last course we had, out of 20, we had 18 graduates. 2 couldn't graduate because they were sick, which is that ratio of keeping people in a 30-week course after their work on a Saturday for 3.5 hours. We are very proud of that. So what we did is we have Siem Reap in the middle, we have a Siem Reap province around it, and there's lots of NGO schools, non-government schools. And we asked those non-government schools, charity schools, do you have teachers who need to be trained? And we're like, oh yes. So we pull them into our course from deep in the country, and then we teach them interactive teaching methods, lesson planning, games, songs, how do you teach grammar, so it's actually fun. And there is a way, believe me, I never thought it would be what it is. And all of this is in this curriculum. We wrote this, and it's finished, and we're quite proud of it. It's a graphic design lady, Shay, actually, she's probably going to watch. She's in hospital at the moment. Unfortunately, she was going to be here and show you her design mark. So she did this, and she and Alison Morris, who was our lead teacher in Cambodia, did such extraordinary work with this to engage teacher trainees for that amount of time, not earning a single cent with it, but bringing it back to their community. So they're bringing what they learn back to their community. The teacher trainees themselves, they go into their classes and they're so much more excited about what they teach. Imagine you being a teacher and you do this with your class all night. So, oh my goodness. But what they're actually doing now is this. So thanks. So the kids, they're doing a game at the start of the class. you just to warm up the class, to prepare the students to whatever the topic is for the day, they do a game. And this was like something like Chinese whisper, and I had to write it down, and that gets them so much more excited about what there is to come in the class for today. Definitely, you would agree that this is a little better than the first video, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you rather have a class like that? So witnessing this was a couple of goosebumps and teary eyes when we observed these classes. That was really an achievement. So again, it's a 30 weeks course. It was a 30 weeks course divided in 3 terms. We wrote our own curriculum matched to the third world requirements, Cambodian requirements, and it can be adapted as well to other countries. So, and we have the program ITTSI, Interactive Teacher Training Series, like with a lot of emphasis on interact. So that's one part. That's our NGO schools, the charity schools that we are looking after with that program. And then we have EPPS, we like those short acronyms. So that's English in Published Primary Schools. So what happened then was, in the last 3 years in Siem Reap, people got talking, and Hands Across the World is doing this and that, and they know a couple of things about it. They have a whole program management around it. They have really good people who work with it. They know what they're doing with their teacher training. So I got a phone call from Mark, who is another NGO, Angkor Tree, and you will hear within my speech that a lot of things that we do are formed with collaborations, teamwork. No one can do all of this alone. No one can have knowledge alone, so there's a lot of collaborations, and that EPPS collaboration is with the Angkor Tree project. So he brings me up and he's like, Cindy, we want to do the same with public primary schools. So this is now huge, because that's when the government gets involved with public schools. I'm like, oh my God, do we really want to talk to the Ministry of Education? Yeah, we've got the schedule. You need to translate this brief into Khmer in 4 days. Okay, so we did that, and we had a meeting with the Ministry of Education. So what we're doing there is we're going to primary schools. We search out the teachers there who need teacher training, who want teacher training, and pull them into a training also. Same principle with the ITTSR. We're going to do that with the EPPS in a collaboration. We could not do that by ourselves, so that will be a collaboration with another organization and with the government. With the ITTSR, so far, the Interactive Teacher Training Siem Reap, looking after NGO schools, we have reached 9,000 children and young adults. So mostly then I get the question, well, how do you get to this number? So we have 20 teachers in a class, and those teachers teach between 20 and sometimes even 40 kids in their class. So that's that number. But we also have a peer teaching module in our curriculum. They have to take what they learn in our course to their school and pass their knowledge on to their peers, to at least 3 peers. So that's how, again, we've got those 20 to 40 kids in their schools, and that's our reach. So that's how it spreads all around the Siem Reap province and in those schools. Excuse me. With this peer teaching module. That curriculum is not a secret, and the knowledge that they gain in the interactive teacher training is also not a secret, so they can carry it wherever, the more the better. And the same will happen with the English and Published Primary Schools teacher training. The next thing people might ask, and I will leave time, and thank you so much. Why English? Why they have their own language? Why English? Well, Siem Reap is one of the most visited cities in the world because of Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat. which is the largest religious temple building in the world, actually, isn't it? Looking at Tola, waiting for her. Yes, it's beautiful, it's amazing, and it draws a lot of tourists in. And if you ever get the chance, go and see it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's amazing. And while you're there, just call in and say you're there. So I've always got something to do for people. And because there are a lot of tourists, they need to speak English, and that advances their chances of actually, getting a better job. If it's in a restaurant or driving a tuk-tuk or business, whatever else people need English for, there to actually serve in hospitality, and to be there for the tourists. That's why English is such a big deal there. So then we have those two slogans here: prevention through education and empowerment through education. And then the next question is mostly like, what are you actually trying to prevent? What we're trying to prevent is sexual exploitation, human trafficking, because that is human slave labor. And if anyone has questions about this, it's a long, long conversation. What is it? Where is it happening? And how? And that sort of thing. I'm more than happy to hang around till midnight and talk about that. This is what we're preventing. This is what we want to eradicate with proper quality education. That's our mission. Empowerment. We want young people who always turn into older people, of course. We want to empower them, make their own decisions, make their own life choices, have the means within their own education to make those choices, and to actually go out and find their dream and do what they really want to do, instead of the bigger evil of sexual exploitation, human trafficking. So this is why we have those two hashtags. I was talking about collaborations. No one can do all of this. Is so much work, and no one can do that by themselves. And we can do that because we have a good team here in Australia. We are registered in Australia, and we can do this because we built a network in around Cambodia, and we formed amazing collaborations. Now, I talked a little bit about the impact, and I talked a little bit about, I told you what the impact is with the ITTSR. It's about 9,000 children, and we just want to quickly look at a video, and you will see Alison Morris, our head teacher, and what I would like for you to focus on is, where do those teachers who we train actually come from? What do the schools look like? It's a gorgeous little video. I will talk you through it there. Should be that one. Should. Yeah, I think not. Unfortunately, I can't dance up Sahara, otherwise I would break the silence somehow. That is Alison. That was our last fundraising call.
Teacher training initially started. It was a collaboration between a group of teachers within the Syrian community who had noticed that within the rural countryside schools there were a lot of teachers who were
long way to attend the teacher training,
hadn't had access to formal qualifications or formal training, and were really doing their very best but probably needed more academic support and development. So a group of teachers came together and decided that they would create a teacher training course specifically to target these teachers. So the first pilot we ran for interactive teacher training started in 2016. A lot of the teachers who were involved in the first course at the beginning were quite shy and maybe not used to our interactive teacher training techniques. So one of the main things that we developed over the course was building their confidence. Yuri, for example, was one of the teachers who at the beginning was a little bit shy, but through the course really developed his confidence.
His lessons
by
by
the
now.
end of the
Yuri
course,
is
when we
really,
saw
really
him
good, engaging lessons. We
he
visited
was
him.
much more confident,
with the
much more
last
in
time
control
again.
of the class, and you could see he was really enjoying teaching as well. For us to be able to deliver the next course, we really need support from people. This is a volunteer project. We really want to impact change in the communities. These teachers, they have no money. They have no access to funds. So we actually really need support right now, and we're fundraising for the next course.
So that is Alison, our head teacher, who also worked on the curriculum with us. We have the other teacher trainers are Cambodian people, so we want to make sure we empower Cambodian people there. Alison has the knowledge and the education to lead that team, and it's been quite very successful with her. Now I want to get to this number here, the English and published primary schools. We worked out if we do this properly, professional, just as we did the ITTRSR, within the next 5 years, we were able to impact 85,000 children, which is massive. We have the Ministry of Education on our side. We have a good team together to do that. And yeah, exciting news for us and everyone who's listening now, hopefully. That is really, really, really exciting news. So on this note, I would like to finish my presentation, and I hope that I told you everything that you would like to know. Now, underneath here is from the pilot in Cambodia with the potential to change the world. Our other goal that we have is to carry this program. It's not just that teacher training, it's a whole program around it. It's recruitment, it's observation, it's evaluation. There's a whole lot of an actual around it into other countries. Africa, Guinea.
Fuck's sake.
All right, that's those. That's all right. All is good. All is good. Anyway, thank you for emphasizing that we want to carry our project out into the world, and I'm going to finish with that. For that, we thank the people that who have helped us up until now, and of course, we need and want to ask you for your help again. Now, Hedda left me to actually do this, so. All right, this is our opportunity to make a big, big difference. What do things like this cost? I've been told I should throw out this number because otherwise people are like, so what are you actually asking for? I'm asking for your support to impact another 9,000 kids in the ITTRSR and to impact 85,000 children with the English and Public Primary School project. We would need around 200,000 to pay everyone who's involved, to pay the material, to pay everything that is involved. If you want to know more about this at any point of time, on WhatsApp, on email, on any media that you can think, contact me. I'm always happy to talk about it, and if you don't make me stop now, I will keep going. So, are there any questions? No? Crickets? Anytime, come to me, talk to me about it, ask me questions. And for now, I want to thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for coming here today. It makes us very happy that when we see that people are actually interested in what we're doing and value what we're doing, and that's our little pat on the shoulder. Thank you very much.
When everyone's leaving this evening, please stick around for a couple more drinks and enjoy yourselves. Please talk about what we're here for tonight as well. But when you do leave the building, it is in lockdown from now, so you will just need to press the button to exit through the door. But thank you, like Cindy said, for coming. We really do